Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Oxenfree. Let's continue. So there was a fight at the tower between Ben and our stepbrother Lucas, I think is his name. Man, I just immediately forgot it. And so they wanted me to pick somebody to go with me, and I chose Nona instead. The new plan is to go into Maggie Adler's house, who, remembered, Clarissa said she had just died. So there's something slightly believable in that. So I don't know if this is the direction we want to go or not, but it probably isn't a terrible idea to get more bits of information about the island. This is some lookout point.
This is the Sentry, sculpted by Lieutenant Peter Hasborough. It was installed here in 1979 to remind all who view it of Fort Milner's original intent, to serve as a beacon of harbor defense. Though the base would eventually become acclaimed as the birthplace of many radio innovations during World War II, and until its deactivation would be known more for its schooling and the tragic sinking of the USS Kanaloa, the fort's spirit will always be that of the watchful sentry, steady, protective, and ever vigilant of enemies both foreign and domestic. This is the Sentry.
So a bit of information there in that, but maybe not information that we need to know again. It may have been information that would have been useful earlier. We're trying to go to the Main Street area, and it seems like at some point we may end up going into the mine. I kind of assume we're going to end up going everywhere. And it seems like a lot of these areas just kind of connect to other areas.
This early version of what would today be considered a blast and fallout shelter was commissioned and built in 1946. The above-ground hub leads to a bunker 60 feet beneath the Earth's surface, molded with layers of poured concrete and packed earth. The lead blast door will only unlock through use of the call and response system, a setup devised by Lieutenant Commander Matthew Feinberg to prevent tampering. If the Catbird Station, a small watch point in Edwards Forest, radios in a decoded attack, the shelter door will automatically open, triggering an alarm and compulsory evacuation. This
Interesting. So to open that door, we've got to figure out how to radio in something.
The island is famously named after Colonel Caleb Edwards for his glorious and triumphant slaughtering of countless families during one of the great ethnic cleansings of the 20th century.
This seems differently.
The forceful removal of an ignorant people to make space for destined holders is a time-honored tradition in our still young country, and you will be a part of that heritage, Alex. Do not resist. It will be over soon. The island is famously named.
So okay, it's talking directly to me as another anomaly. And seemingly that feels like that was a radio transmission from an alternate reality that's much more warlike than the actual United States war reality. So I think there's probably an alternate reality that we're going to run into that is basically just a fascist type country, an imperialist type country. So can we get to the Adler estate and open this gate even right now? Anyways, no. But it is the thing that connects us. So it's not the beacon bitch. This map is pretty terribly drawn. And really quiet happenings right now. I stood still and let Nona talk to me for a while, but she definitely didn't talk long enough to make this full trip. I guess maybe the writers felt like they needed to give us some falling action in the conversations. Or maybe there's some gameplay time travel mechanic that will explain why there's silence in so much of this game. There is another problem with the writing, though, in the fact that they've had to make the characters, when they're possessed by the alien ghost creatures, so weird and insane. Otherwise, anytime any of the characters seem even a little bit off because they're being written with a just poor writing and giving a poor implementation of giving the characters a natural voice, that would have become suspicious too. It felt fairly suspicious that Ben and Lucas started fighting in the tower, and I don't know if the story isn't going to say that's because of some signals or something specifically in that area, or if that was just they needed that to happen, so the writer wrote that to happen. And then it felt fairly suspicious when Nona started being really nice to me, when we really hadn't had any interaction with her at all before that point. So yeah, I have to be careful here to try and figure out what's part of the game and what isn't.
How many of you are there? How many of you are there?
That sounds like me asking that question, and it feels like the ghost answered that question earlier. And I kind of hope we don't end up just going inside every single building. They've done a decent job of not making the buildings large or anything like that. You could definitely imagine that they might have wanted to make a game where you are going inside entire giant mansions, particularly since it does feel a lot like a horror game. So now we're in the Discovery Cliffs, but a slightly different section. Let's see what this is.
This Data Command Annex, as it had been dubbed, was used during the base's early years as the communication nerve center for outside military installations. It was also the primary office of Marianne Bozek, a civilian who developed communications protection through the invention of the famed wall system. A type of radio frequency identification, WAL, standing for Wave-Assisted Lock, assigned each person who was stationed at Fort Milner a call sign through which they could use their portable two-wave radios to unlock prescribed doors and gates. Though the mechanics are considered outmoded today, the island still uses this security method to honor its rich history.
So
this data command,
we're gonna get some kind of transmitter, or they're gonna skip over the fact that the radio receiver I have right now is just a receiver, and it's gonna become effectively like a Metroidvania key. I feel like we're gonna run into a time warp in the background, and everything looks particularly wavy here and unrealistic. I kind of feel like we shouldn't go back down to the caves, because I feel like that would be just a really long journey. Like, this is where we nearly started the game. We'll see if we can. Almost certainly have to go back to the caves at some point. And we still have 5 anomalies to try and find. So there seems like there's still going to be a lot of gameplay in a lot of places. We might start finding out that there's lots of locations that have
down a bit, right?
secret doors.
Building, I don't think it's far.
Yeah, I just hope Ren's not misremembering his sister's job or something.
Ren. His name's Ren. I've been calling him Ben. But yeah, Kylo Ren, apparently. Star Wars reference. maybe, or maybe just a weird name. Maybe there's something in that. I guess if we think about it, all of the characters' names are pretty weird. You have Lucas, which is a name that you really hasn't been used a lot since The Omen, and like the son of the devil was named Lucas. There's a trilogy of horror games with a demonic child named Lucas. You have a kid named Ren. You have a girl named Nona. Clarissa makes about the most sense, and then Alex is a kind of bi-gender name, so that opens up the door to our character switching gender if we change the timeline. Rin could be Renaud or Ronaldo, so there's
Clarissa!
something to it.
How did she get up there? What are you doing?
I can't even see
Where
it.
have you been? The last time we saw you jumped out a window. We thought you
Oh,
were
she's
dead.
sitting on the lighthouse
Clarissa!
things.
What? Alex! Christ, what's wrong with her? Clarissa, can you hear me? Alex, do you know what's happening? Is she gonna be okay?
Okay, just what do you guys want? This is just really lost its charm, I have to say.
Alex,
Then they really
can you
needed
just-
to take
I don't know what
control.
you can do, but can you just do something, please? Just try anything. Like, Clarissa!
I can... I'll try. Okay, I'll try.
Clarissa, can you hear me?
I don't know why I need to try the door.
Please try and get her down, Elise. Please, somehow.
Like, that's not what I need to do. I need to open the frequency, don't I?
She just looks awful.
Really, I'm just playing the THX sound effect over and over again. Just some low field effects signals.
You think you can control me?
Clarissa.
I'm trying to help you. This
Help me. Help me. How will that help me?
I was looking forward to seeing you. Yes, I used to dream about something like this.
don't you there's a ghost in you right now. They've like perverted this
Ghosts. Sounds pretty scary, kids. Better leave the nightlight on.
When you're off, the little machine has no more heart than a brain.
No more heart.
Man, Nona, what was all that about?
I don't know. Clarissa, are you alright? You scared the crap out of us.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay. Are you sure? 'Cause that didn't look great.
Do you remember anything that happened?
I remember waiting in Fort Milner and seeing you.
That was a while ago.
How did I get here?
You don't remember how you got here?
There's been like time disturbances or something, and I think that's what's been
There's like no point in telling her that she was dead.
Just happened.
That doesn't
Time
add any
disturbances.
information.
So you're just blank.
No, I remember something. I remember you with that radio, and I remember feeling like you were the reason all of this was happening.
Wait, it's Clarissa's turn already?
Yeah, it's my turn. What do you mean it's Clarissa's turn already? I haven't even asked one question. Everyone's asking me. I get to do the asking now.
Are you controlling this?
It's my turn, if that's what you mean. And you, of all people, should
Interesting.
know what my question is going to be, because I'm not going to waste it. Alex, what did you do? Explain why me and my best friend, and your idiot best friend, and your new...
Look, when we went into the cave, we found
So
a
we have to
thing,
answer
and I used the radio
while
to somehow tune it in, and
reliving this
I
memory.
think it jump-started everything.
I see.
I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry.
Jonas, now you're seeing who you're stuck to until graduation.
Clarissa, seriously, I can vouch for this. This isn't her
It
fault.
has to be her fault. Of course it's her fault.
Who cares
There's
whose fault it
no
is?
other way this story goes. She creates chaos. She's a storm chaser.
She's not a bad.
Again, this feels like Life is Strange.
No, come on, Clarissa. Let's not do this right
You're
now.
gonna learn, Jonas. I swear to God. The town looks at her like she has a red letter tattooed on her frickin' forehead. And the giant, lit up Christmas tree reason why is that Michael is dead because of her. Because of her. Like, do you understand?
It would take a very sick person to see it that way, and I would love to hear the explanation.
Michael was gonna leave town. He was free. He was out of here until this one convinced him to take her swimming for one last God knows what. And he drowned. He drowned in Horn Lake while this one could barely flap her arms.
Clarissa.
She is a pox, Jonas.
Interesting.
She makes bad things happen.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So
but enough.
that explains why she
Clarissa,
doesn't like
that's
him.
Enough. It's too much right now. I can't believe. Ugh. Seriously, enough.
Nona, it was awful, all right? It's still awful, and I
don't just Alex. This is none of my business, okay? None. But we came here to do a thing, and that thing is gonna get us home. So let's get home.
No.
Clarissa, what are you?
All the Oxenfree.
Hey, whoa, man, do you ever get deja vu? Jeez, I just got a serious thing of goosebumps from one.
Let's see.
I guess you don't remember, like, anything that just happened, right?
To what anything are you referring exactly?
Clarissa being possessed and shrieking at me would probably be the big kahuna here.
I sorta can picture Clarissa being, like, weird or something, but I don't know. It's kind of a blur, to be honest.
Man, I hate the controller. It's just so badly
the office
programmed.
that we gotta try to get into is, like, right there. So let's try and whatever our way in.
So, the theme of tag is running here,
We're gonna try to get into the office thing, right? To get the key?
but I don't even know if I understand all the rules of tag. Like, when she said all the outs in free, does that mean all the people who have been
Alex,
possessed?
wanna try and get the key for the gate? You know, the reason we're here?
So...
Yep, this isn't budging.
I don't know about that. I think we can just bust our way through, honestly. The lock looks pretty worn.
I don't get enough breaking down doors in my life, really, so I'm not gonna complain.
So...
Cross your fingers and hold your thumbs.
Yeah, that's like another phrase I just haven't ever heard of. It's like, cross your fingers and hold your thumbs. The big old mural. There's a box.
I think here's something. It's another pocket radio, I think. But it's like there's way more stations on the dial.
Interesting.
Neato. Here's another one. It says they're wall radios, wave-assisted lock, whatever that means. Oh, duh. It says right here that each frequency is like a key to open the doors around here. So they're like ID tags or something. It must work for the gate to Adler's house too.
Okay, cool, great.
So we got that.
Wait, here's like a... Wait. What is this? Personal effects of Margaret Dorothy Adler.
Why would her stuff be here? Didn't her family, or like, hasn't her family been carting her things back to town?
No, we can start back. I just wanna... Okay, here.
She just responded completely different, and then it jumped up the menu. That was weird.
Whom it should concern. This island and its history is a lie. Jeez, she didn't have fond memories of this place, did she?
I'm just gonna let her keep talking.
What? What could that mean?
I have been compelled by both forces outside of my control and my own willful concern for the safety of others to conceal the many truths about Edwards Island.
So
But
these are
now
gonna be
I
the
feel
letters.
Any further inaction may carry a far greater risk.
Forces outside our control. Like ghosts or the army, or what was she talking about?
Let me finish then. Inside, you'll find 2 wall-equipped radios. I have commandeered the old Cardinal Station 140.1 and used it to relay clues to the nearby beacons buried throughout the area. Find these beacons and the notes within, and discover the true chronicle of the island.
Oh, scavenger hunt! Scavenger hunt! Scavenger hunt!
Wait. To whosoever finds
That's another weird line of
know that I
dialogue
was
considering the
comforted in keeping it
situation.
hidden and ashamed for the lies I helped preserve. But also know that I acted in what I felt were the best interests for all at the time. And truly for the interest of time itself. Margaret Adler.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going back all over the island to find Maggie's long-lost journal entries or jarred pickles or whatever.
I'm totally
is buried
gonna
out
do
there.
that.
Yeah,
I'm so zoomed out though,
maybe
I
next
can't
time.
see the prompts.
Or never.
And then we missed something here. We missed the mural because we got the box. Alright. So now this goes like way higher.
November. Tango. India.
NTI Q
Uniform.
U
Echo. Eventually.
E
Everything becomes a Alpha. November.
A N T
India.
I
Quebec.
Q
Uniform.
U
Echo.
E
Eventually.
E. An antique eventually.
Everything becomes a Alpha. November. Tango. India.
So it's an antique shop is what we're looking for. We can't walk this way. That's where we started the game. So it does kind of feel like Clarissa is gonna just be our antagonist always. It goes up to 150. Does it go any lower than the others? Seems like it. Yeah. It goes down to 50. Like, really not even gonna get all the story if we don't play the game this way, unfortunately, so we kinda have to.
Message by Lighthouse. Date and catalog 1968. Concerns report of indeterminate origin detailing naval communications.
And see, I'm not getting subtitles on some of this stuff. Clearly, it still feels like all of these are red herring. Red herring. Radio stations.
Everything becomes a
I still can't look at the things we missed. This feels like this would be a door in the back towards the back of the building. Is this there's an Adler,
Oh my
really.
God, the Camiloa was destroyed by friendly fire? We've been lied to all this time.
Let's see. USS Walter Roy, a destroyer escort, sunk the U.S. Camiloa with friendly fire on October 25th, 1943. It held a developmental nuclear reactor in its belly and had been sent out weeks earlier to test its capabilities. Relatively few even knew of its existence, which tripled the base's confusion when the submarine's communications had been cut. No one outside of a handful of us would ever know the truth. I would discover later that a weapons technician of the Walter Roy had been at Francis Salter's wedding. Salter was an engineer on the Canola. I don't know why, but it's strange to me. So, it does seem like more characters are going to just get named to create a very complicated scenario here. A very, very complicated storyline scenario that may go back 100 or 2 years. Also, we have a problem here where I play games on my TV that's about 10 feet away. It's a pretty big TV, maybe like a 50-inch. But when you're playing like a PC game and the text is this small, I can't really read it. So I could maybe squint my eyes and read this, but it really, really sucks that there isn't a way to zoom in. Like, I'm just gonna hit every button and see if maybe there's something that would do it, but no, there is absolutely no way to zoom in there. Let's see what the next hint will be. Seems like the hints stop as soon as you get the letter. So it kind of implies that you have to constantly have this radio on. We still kind of don't know what the frequency is, but one would kind of assume that unless you have to dial in multiple frequencies, you're not really, you don't really need it. You can just kind of brute force the frequency to open the house. Here we've got some music playing, which implies some sequence is going to happen.
Charlie, Oscar, Lima,
COLORE
Delta,
colored field.
Alex, why are you wearing that jacket? It's like 75 degrees and the sun's out, you know? And I thought you said you were gonna go swimming anyway. You bring a jacket, but you don't bring a swimsuit.
Interesting.
Didn't you say you wanted to go swimming? Maybe you
1
didn't.
p.m. last
Am I being
year.
stupid right now?
Hey, Michael, we didn't bring drinks. Did we? I thought we said we'd bring drinks.
Let's see. So now we're back
didn't
in the
bring drinks?
past.
You didn't bring drinks.
Let's just let him talk.
True. Today turned out to be a flawless day. It
So
really
he's been dead less than a
It really
year.
did. I wanted to bring a kite, but thought you'd laugh at me.
did. Why would I laugh at you?
I'm just
You're
gonna let
laughing
these
right
two
now.
talk.
Not because of... Oh my god, forget it.
So I think Clarissa probably feels guilty, and like she's the cause of Michael's death. I forget now what I was supposed to tell Michael to do, though, so I'm just gonna stay silent. Like, if I change things here, does Nona disappear and Michael show up? Does that affect anything, really? Because it probably wouldn't kill or eliminate Nona from the future timeline if I could change the past. It would probably just allow things to be Michael to live. If anything, it would be more likely that Michael and Nona might show up in the future if I can change the past. And see, now her hair is purple instead of blue. All these girls with wild colored hair. I'm surprised the schools would allow so much of that. And I really feel like just not saying anything is probably the right response to this. Just enjoy the memory. Is that what it meant by all outs back in? Everybody who's died
It's been a
is
spell
being
since
brought
we did
back.
something, right? I feel like I haven't talked to you in a while. How have you been? What's been going on? How's classes? How's what's his face, Mr. Collins English? Ah, sorry. I think I
See-
I accidentally left my phone on the ferry because I do things like that.
Oh god, you idiot. Go get it before it leaves.
When I get back, I want to hear an Alex story.
Let's see. I'm just being quiet and
So...
let's start responding. Let's see. And we saw in the
I'm
previous
glad we could all do stuff today. I'm glad you were cool with it.
kickball.
I know you guys are really close, and like, I know it can be annoying when somebody starts keeping all their time for their girlfriend or whatever. So, I think it would be cool if we could like continue to do things together.
Yeah, I totally understand. And yeah, let's do stuff, you know.
Cool. Michael, he loves you, like, a lot. I'm sure you know that, but He talks about you all
See,
the time.
it looks like we could go to the
Oh,
caves
Alex did
before.
this, and Alex let the frogs out in science class. Isn't she hilarious? He just, he thinks you're a cool girl.
Thanks for telling me.
Yeah, of course.
Had to fight the skipper for it, but he didn't reckon how many squats I could do.
What's it up to? 6?
Only on burrito days. On non-burrito days, it's like 8.
Glad you got it back, regardless. So,
Just
I
trying to
really
be
wanna
nice
hold
again.
something, so I'm gonna run into town and get like a soda. Anybody want anything?
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Get me a drink too?
Sure. I'll be back.
And see, that's kind of a funny thing, is that you just want to be a team player.
What's the story? I want the news. I want the Alex first edition. What's going on?
Let's see.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And look, I know this was supposed to be our day, but I completely forgot I promised Clarissa I'd do something with her, so thanks for chaperoning. I know it's not what you had in mind, so... But I owe you.
Yeah, no problem. Just don't get all smoochy smooch while I'm in the general vicinity.
Because that would ever happen. It's important to me that you like Clarissa, Alex, so tell me the truth. What do you really think of her?
Let's see.
Stick with it. Stay with her. If she makes you happy, if she makes you laugh, who am I to say anything otherwise?
Thank you. Good blessings, good tidings. You know, I never noticed. That's a good-looking jacket. I should ask for it back. I don't like my new one. Feels like I got shoes on my arms or something.
No way, bucko.
Bucko? You haven't called me that in years.
And so we're reliving a memory on the jacket. And so that kind of recontextualizes why she's been wearing the jacket this whole time.
Alex,
Not that that really matters.
All right, are you back with me now?
3:20 a.m.
Acting like a
Interesting.
I don't even know how to put it, like a bird, just flitting around in circles for 10 minutes. I was about to like slap you or scream or something. It's been not fun to watch in light of everything.
Nona, I just saw... I think I just saw my brother Mike.
What? How? Where? Here? Is he... Was it like a... I don't know what to call it. A vision?
It was like those time jumps we're sometimes having, right? This was... It's like we've been having ripples, and this was a wave. I was bumped all the way back to when Michael was still alive.
Right now?
What's funny is, though, her conversation was the weird thing from our perception, so everybody's perception seems to be way, way off. They did do us the favor of skipping us right from the Discovery Cliffs, and they also did us kind of the favor of not bothering to have us waste our energy going to the Beacon Beach. There's also some weirdness, as we can see on the map, where the other characters are apparently already in Epiphany Fields instead of in Hardin Tower. So I feel like it would be natural to try to steal a boat and leave. And I wouldn't even be surprised if the game actually stops us. They've even written on the map Adler number station 1401. So there's 2 codes getting written down. We still have like 5 time anomalies, and clearly we're still have a decent amount of stuff to happen here. So even back in this point, oh, that's the well we saw. So there's Michael, and he was on the island on the well, and she was dangerously sitting on the well, assuming it's not capped, which hopefully it would be. And then she was blue-haired with Michael. So there must have been a point, unless this photo is showing an event that really didn't happen or hasn't happened yet. There was at some point where she had blue hair with Michael. And then here it starts with Rin and Lucas. And then Nona and Clarissa and Rin and Lucas. trying to see if there might be some other elements here. And then us kicking the ball with the ghost is almost certainly just us kicking the ball with ourselves in the past, or this is Michael's ghost. And then us seeing the mirror in the back might just be us seeing ourselves or Michael's ghost. We don't have the other two things. It would be kind of lame if we just finished the game at this point and didn't find out any real completion to the story. The story has finally, 4 or 5 hours into gameplay, started to speed up and actually be slightly interesting. One of the things that Life is Strange, I think, failed to do is, because it was episodic, there definitely were episodes that weren't important, and each episode was its own little story that it was telling in a wrapping of a bigger story, where this nicely is just one giant story that very possibly is just overly complicated. So there's going to have to be some creative writing and editing here to try and fix all of this. Otherwise, the danger is we are going to have a chain of events that goes 100 years back, and perhaps it will be dumbed down so much that all we have to really realize is, if we don't allow the missionaries on the island several hundreds of years ago, then none of the chain events occur. Or if we don't sink the canola, the chain of events won't occur. We've also been thrown another potential red herring where the nuclear reactor might be the thing that was sunk to the ground, sunk into the ocean, and that's causing all of this weird signals and weirdness to happen. Also, still very possible that we just end up waking up and this whole thing just being a nightmare, which that would be really disappointing ending too. That's kind of the problem with interactive games more than even movies. And even movies, really, you can't have a simplistic, disappointing ending like you could a Twilight Zone episode. Everything just being a dream or a hallucination. That works when you're telling an hour-long story because you're not so invested. But when you're 5 or 10 hours into a game, if this was just all a dream, then you'd have to try some other narrative, and something else would have to feel worth the effort as far as doing all of these little gameplay mechanics, of which I still don't really like the gameplay mechanics too much. There is probably not enough reliance on the radio station mechanic. Like, maybe we'll eventually get to that point, but it's still 60-70% walking around and seeing what are animated cutscenes, which you could have pretty easily done this just as a more traditional visual novel, and then had you done that, perhaps the art focus would have been better. Take note, because this is being done in a point-and-click adventure art style where the characters are zoomed out quite a bit and you're just seeing these tiny little pixel creatures. Had this been a visual novel, each character would be nicely animated and right in front on screen, and that would have allowed an artist to draw more interesting horrific elements and better reactions on the faces of the characters and more dialogue in general. There's a lot of work that has been put into developing this island in the background and the walking mechanic, and I'm not sure the budget was well suited towards that. On the other hand, if this was just a visual novel game, it would be immediately dismissed by most people, whereas this was a game that was actually critically acclaimed by many mainstream video game journalists when it came out. So it very well may have been the right move for the Western audience that they were trying to reach. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.